Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. From another headlines as usual.
Vietnamese export increases in both quantity and quality. Tuyên Quang province promotes eco-tourism. And later on, fishermen say no to illegal fishing.
Let's begin our bulletin with the most prominent events of the week from May 30th to June 5th.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met Kham Kilang Orthakason, Deputy Minister of National Defense and Chief of the General Staff of the Lao People's Army, in Hanoi on June 2nd. The host said the Vietnamese party, state, government, and people attach great importance to the reinforcement of ties with Laos. Informing his host about the outcomes of the talks between the General Staff of the Vietnamese and Lao armies earlier, Kham Kilang Orthakason said the two sides agreed on many practical issues so as to effectively implement agreements reached by their country's leaders. The Lao official and Deputy Defense Minister and Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army Nguyễn Tấn Cương agreed to step up information sharing between their border guards, conduct more joint patrols, and continue to coordinate in the fight against crimes and illegal migration and ensuring security and safety in border areas. During the week, President of the Laos State Inspection Authority Kham Phan Phomaphat paid a visit to Vietnam. He was received by Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính on June 1st. He held talks with Inspector General Vietnam's Government Inspectorate Đoàn Hồng Phong. The two officers signed a new agreement to further enhance cooperation in inspection, settlement of complaints and denunciations, and corruption fight. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the high-level session at the 4th Vietnam Economic Forum in Ho Chi Minh City on June 5th. The event was co-organized by the party's Central Committee's Economic Commission, the government, and Ho Chi Minh City. Besides the high-level session, 3 other thematic workshops were held the same day on the development of stable labor supply chains after the pandemic, the capital and real estate markets, the technology modernization, digital transformation, and diversification of supply chains. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Chính reaffirmed the correct and effective policy of the party and state on pursuing đổi mới or renewal, building an independent, self-reliant economy in combination with proactive and active international integration. On key tasks and solutions, Prime Minister Chính said the first thing is to create a peaceful environment, maintain national independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity, political stability, social order and safety, and stabilize the legal environment. Another task is to continue fine-tuning institutions of the socialist-oriented market economy that suit Vietnam's conditions and international commitments, the Prime Minister added. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính officially launched the Month of Action for Children at a ceremony in Hanoi on May 31st. The special one is held every June to promote child care and protection and mobilize social resources for the work. Under the theme, Joining Hands to Care for, Educate, and Protect Children, the month aims to engage socio-political organizations, social organizations, families, and communities in the care, education, and protection of children. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said that we should not only hold a month for action, but always act for children. The Prime Minister also underlined the need to fully enforce the law on children and other legal documents on child care, education, and protection.
Taking advantage of free trade agreements and flexibly adapting to world unstable development, Vietnam's spearhead economies such as fisheries, garment and textile, and wood production are accelerating exports to increase turnover.
Taking advantage of the free trade agreements and flexibly adapting to world unstable development, Vietnam's spearhead economies such as fisheries, garment, and textiles and wood production are accelerating exports to increase turnover. According to statistics of the Vietnam Customs, as of May 15th, export turnover reached $135 billion, up 15.5% year-on-year. The Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association forecasts that the sector could enjoy an export turnover of $42 to $43.5 billion this year. The wood processing sector is also full of orders to the fourth quarter of 2022. The target of around $16.5 billion in export value set by the sector for the whole year is completely feasible. The fisheries sector also enjoyed a record export value in the first 5 months of this year with $3.65 billion, up nearly 47% against the same period of last year. The FTAs help businesses increase their competitiveness and market share in not only traditional markets such as China, Japan, and the Republic of Korea, but also in markets that are not familiar with Vietnamese furniture such as ASEAN and Oceania.
Free trade agreements spurred Vietnam's bilateral and multilateral trade, with 2022 revenues projected to hit a record $750 billion, according to experts.
Free trade agreements spurred Vietnam's bilateral multilateral trade, with 2022 revenues projected to hit a record $750 billion, according to experts. Vietnam's signatory FTAs, especially recent agreements, will promote trade breakthroughs and generate major trade surplus for 2022 and create momentum for 2022 to 2023 in the process. Despite challenges facing Vietnam, exports recovered well in the first 4 months of the year to top $122 billion, a year-on-year surge of 16.4%. The increase was attributed to business resilience and flexibility, taking advantage of FTA parameters, notably the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, European Union-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, and the Regional Cooperation Economic Partnership, which took effect at the beginning of this year. At present, intra-country logistics pose a challenge for Vietnamese businesses, causing some businesses to miss opportunity within the FTAs, the experts said. Vietnam needs to fine-tune policies and regulations on logistics services and build fleets of major vessels and modern infrastructure to meet import-export requirements, they noted.
Vietnam raked in an estimated $4.5 billion from exporting aquatic exports in the first 5 months of this year, up 44.5% of the same period last year, according to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers.
Vietnam raked in an estimated $4.5 billion from exporting aquatic products in the first 5 months of this year, up 44.5% over the same period last year, according to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers. Despite various challenges and difficulties caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and global changes in the last 2 years, Vietnamese seafood enterprises have seized opportunities to expand exports and won orders with much higher prices than those in 2021. The positive results were attributed to the recovering and booming demand in many markets, the shortage of supply, and increasing inflation in many countries. Vietnamese seafood processors and exporters have fully tapped advantages from the high inflation of the US market, China's zero-COVID policy, and the strongly recovering demand in the European market to increase their exports. Notably, exports of shrimp, catfish, and other key commodities to the US market recorded higher growths compared to 2021. Vietnam hopes to earn $9 billion from aquatic exports this year, the association noted.
Tuyên Quang Northern Mountainous Province features beautiful landscapes, rich in cultural traditions and revolutionary history. In recent years, the province has promoted tourism in connection with its beautiful local terrain, directly benefiting the community.
At 1,200 meters above sea level, Hồng Thái Commune, Nam Hang District, has a distinct subtemperate climate. The area is also home to groups of Dao and Hmong ethnic people. In recent years, people have planted pear trees to benefit from the produce, but also to grow attractive surroundings to draw tourism to the area.
After we were introduced to the idea of developing community tourism, we visited neighboring provinces to learn the model, and we have found that it's a good direction for economic development. Our commune has provided visitors with community homestay services and terraced fields and pear garden sightseeing. Thanks to the new tourism model, we've managed to open up new sources of revenue for local people.
In order to support farmers to develop agriculture associated with tourism, the province has prioritized investment in roads, telecommunications infrastructures, and promoted the area of the one commune, one product to develop local specialties.
We have focused on human resources training while connecting the content of rural tourism with the national targets of developing new-style rural areas to create beautiful and environmentally friendly landscapes to attract tourists.
Ecotourism brings many benefits in terms of sustainable economic development to indigenous people, not only helping people protect the environment, but also preserving and promoting the unique cultural features of the community.
Illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing has a host of negative consequences, including putting fishermen's lives at risk, and Vietnam has been issued with a yellow card by European Commission regarding the practice. In an attempt to promote sustainable fishing development, Quảng Ngãi province has issued regulations on the exploitation and protection of local aquatic resources.
Prior to every voyage offshore, Nguyễn Văn Trí, captain of fishing boat QNG 96539TH, is informed about regulations on the exploitation and protection of aquatic resources by officers and soldiers from the Lý Sơn border station.
Before each trip, I equip myself with navigational equipment, and we are told not to violate foreign waters and to only fish in Vietnamese territory. If I see a foreign ship, I take photos and report it to the border guard station. We follow all regulations on exploiting aquatic resources in the Hoàng Sa fishing grounds.
The entire political system of Quảng Ngãi province, from the provincial level to the grassroots, had worked hard to promote regulations on the exploitation and protection of aquatic resources among fishermen.
We hand out leaflets to fishing boats anytime we meet them, and boat owners have to sign papers committing to not take part in any illegal fishing. We also check and inspect the journey taken by each boat after it returns to the wharf. Any violations, especially those relating to IUU fishing, will be handled strictly.
Quảng Ngãi province has so tightened the monitoring, inspection, and control of fishing activities. All offshore vessels with a length of 50 meters or more are required to install cruise monitoring equipment.
Every year we issue plans on supporting and managing fishing activities. Among others is the requirement on the installment of navigation equipment and the work of enhancing fishermen's awareness about the consequences of IUU fishing.
Together with other localities, Quảng Ngãi is trying to develop a sustainable marine economy. Efforts to remove the easiest yellow card can be seen as restructuring of the local fishing industry.